From the studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers, Florida, this is the Royal Palmcast, the show about people and things that realtors, homebuyers, and home sellers care about. And now, here's your host, Jim Sandville.
Hello and welcome to the Royal Palmcast. This is the show about people and things that realtors, home buyers, and home sellers care about. We're coming to you today from the production studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers, Florida, where it's a beautiful sunny day once again. And today we're introducing a special edition of the Royal Palmcast that we call Quick Takes. And this is where we take a quick look at some of the important work being done by the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association Board, its staff, and our many wonderful volunteer members who put their hearts and souls into ensuring the success of the association and its 7,000 members. Today we're pleased to welcome Bob Wade. And Bob is a realtor and an especially dedicated member of the organization who was involved in many aspects, particularly, as we'll talk about today, the RPCRA Crisis Foundation. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you. Good to see you, Jim.
Great to have you here. Bob, before we jump into the work of the Crisis Foundation and some of the other things you're doing here at the association, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Sure. I'm a native of Fort Myers. So I was born here. My folks came down from Indiana, and I raised my family here. I have quite an extended family that still lives here in Fort Myers.
You know, I knew if I looked long and hard enough, I would find somebody who's from Fort Myers, and you are that guy.
Yes, sir.
So I feel privileged to be in your presence today. Bob, you're well known around the association. You've been very active in the blood drives that we've had here, the Crisis Foundation certainly. So can you tell me a little bit about what drives you, what gives you the impetus to get so involved and do the work you do?
Well, I think more than anything, it's a feeling of purpose, being a part of things. If I were to retire, I don't think I would have the satisfaction that I have in working with others and volunteering my time and my efforts. I am a 30-gallon blood donor.
30 gallons?
30 gallons.
Over how long a period?
Since about 1973.
Oh, my Lord.
And
That's impressive.
I had attended a breakfast meeting at the association, the Lee Memorial Hospital Blood Bank. They had representatives there, encouraged us to donate, and I did, and I haven't stopped.
That's amazing. That's my hat's off to you. I don't know that I'll ever achieve that, but I certainly enjoy participating. Believe it or not, the last time there was a blood drive here, as you recall, you gave blood, and so did I. And I hadn't done that in a number of years, and you kind of inspired me to go ahead and take the plunge. And the folks on the Lee blood bus were very reassuring, and everything turned out great. And I actually, maybe this is my imagination, but I almost felt like a little high afterwards.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yes, and I have felt that myself many, many times. Seems like you're on a higher plane emotionally. You just feel good after you've donated, and that sensation lasts for several weeks, and it's kind of like being on a runner's high.
Yeah, it's something biochemically going on in the brain, I think. And but boy, it was. I'll be doing it again. When's the next blood drive coming up?
I really don't know. I just donated last week. I donate every 8 weeks, and I'm not aware of them having a scheduled date at this time.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be at some point soon. Now let's talk a bit about the Crisis Foundation. I'm going to pretend I'm completely ignorant, which, as Jerry will tell you, that's not much of a stretch.
You're just fine, Jim.
Well, that's very reassuring, Jerry. Tell me, Bob, what is the Crisis Foundation? How long has it been around? What's it do?
Well, the Crisis Foundation was founded in 2009, so it's been around about 10 years. It's a nonprofit organization. It's designed to give temporary financial assistance to dues-paying members and their immediate families. The purpose of it is to cover health, accidents, injuries, things of that nature. And then at the same time, crises that families might experience. Could be some kind of a sickness or death in the family, things of that nature, things that are outside of our control. And at the same time, we self-fund an insurance benefit $2,500, and that goes to the beneficiary of our paid members when they should pass.
Mm-hmm. Now, I should specify that this is the RPCRA Crisis Foundation. I don't think I was specific in that. But this is an association founded through the auspices of the Realtor Association here.
Yes, that's correct. It's funded by the association and also individual contributions.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you involved in the founding of the foundation?
No, I came in approximately 2 years after it was founded.
All right.
There's 12 trustees, a chair, a vice chair, a secretary, and Monica here at the association is our liaison.
Now, obviously, we want to protect the anonymity of those folks, the privacy of those who have benefited from the Crisis Foundation. But can you give me a few examples of specific cases without divulging names of how it's helped people?
Yeah. It pretty much runs the gamut of the financial needs of everyday people. So we have paid medical bills, hospital bills, tests, MRIs, just about any kind of medical situation has been covered, all the way from breast cancer to brain cancer. We have paid for people's housing. Their credit card debt that's related to the crisis. We've paid automobile expenses, payments, car payments, insurance payments, rent. We had a fellow that had a fire and needed some temporary housing. We took care of that. People needing eye surgery. Obviously, people having heart attacks, cancer. I mean, it pretty much runs the gamut. We have paid utilities, insurance payments.
So that is quite the gamut.
Yeah, I mean, just about any expense that people have on a daily basis, we have covered. Now, when we do that, we pay it directly to the vendors, the people that are providing the services. The utility companies or the credit card companies. The monies don't go directly to the members. They go to the suppliers and the vendors.
Okay, I gotcha. So what's the process like if a Realtor member or immediate family member finds themselves maybe unexpectedly in a crisis? How would they initiate?
Yeah. They would contact Monica with the association, ask for an application. Complete the application. It's submitted to the trustees for consideration, and then it goes back to Monica. She works with the applicant in getting the vendors and the suppliers paid with the allotment that's granted.
Okay. Now, you've pointed out what qualifies, what kind of things would tend to qualify for assistance. I want to make sure people have an understanding of the limits, the parameters of the assistance that's available. What kind of things would not be covered?
Well, one of the most unusual requests we had a fellow that needed some bond money. And he requested that the association step up and help him with this personal crisis.
Oh,
and
okay.
Obviously that did not qualify. Business expenses, if you're having a hardship within your respective business, that would not be covered. So it's crises that are outside the control of the individual and acts of God.
I gotcha. Now, what does the decision process look like? The trustees meet and consider each case?
Yeah. In some cases, we do meet. In other cases, the information is distributed via email, and we communicate through email. Someone will make a motion, and then we'll have a second discussion, and then take a vote via email.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I'm guessing that when times are good, such as now, there's less need. Is that true?
That's exactly true. Since the first of the year, we've only had about 3 applications. Typically, we run somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 applications annually. And then the death benefit will have, right now we have about 12 for the year. We're expecting that we'll probably pay off 20 by the end of the year.
So this would be a time to build up the coffers for a hedge against any future difficult times.
Yes, fundraising is ongoing because the expenses are going out on a continual basis.
Right. Now, what are the tax implications for both the recipient and donors to the foundation?
It is a nonprofit, so the people that are making the contributions, those are tax deductible. And the implication, there is no implication as far as people receiving the funding.
Okay. Now, obviously, we're not tax professionals, and I want to make that clear. So we're not offering financial advice here. But as far as you understand, in most cases, if not all, the person does not have to pay tax on that.
Right. We're paying it to the vendors. We're not paying it to the individual.
Gotcha. Are there any? I know that these are not happy circumstances in general that find their way to the Crisis Foundation, but are there any that have kind of a happy twist ending where everything worked out in a fairy tale way?
Oh, yeah. I remember a lady had breast cancer and had a lot of tests, and we covered those tests, and she was able to overcome the breast cancer as a result of the contributions that we made. I think anytime we give money to people, it's a happy ending because they're getting a benefit that they didn't even know existed. Particularly with the life benefit, a lot of times people don't realize that there is a life policy, and so the heirs end up, in effect, with found money that they never anticipated.
So you would seek out those heirs in the event of a death?
Yes.
They wouldn't have to initiate it?
Ideally, they should initiate it, but if we know the family, will reach out to the family and tell them, hey, you have a benefit here. Go ahead and submit an application.
Gotcha. Now, are there times when people have sort of gotten back on their feet and to the point where they want to pay back the money?
Yeah, I'm not aware of people actually paying it back. Not to say that hasn't happened. I'm sure that it probably has. I'm just not aware of it.
Yeah. And if you had to guess, how many folks has the foundation helped over the 10 years?
Well, it would be several hundred over a period of that time, 10 years, yes.
Gotcha. And you accept contributions from the public, I would imagine, as well as members?
Yeah, the public and members of the association as well, yes.
Huh. Now, there are not a lot of organizations that offer this kind of benefit. I rarely have seen it in my experience in the corporate world, but you must get some really nice feedbacks and thank you notes.
We do, and when we do receive those, we distribute them to the trustees so that they can see and have the satisfaction of knowing that they played a role in helping people.
That's great. Now, how do you seek out money or raise money from members? Is there a deduction form?
Basically, we just request the contributions. If someone does pass, perhaps people are looking to give a memorial, and the foundation would be a good resource.
That's great.
For them to make a contribution.
That's awesome. Any other interesting points about the Crisis Foundation you'd like to make?
Yeah, a couple of other expenses that I didn't include is we have paid for funerals and cremation where people didn't have the monies. So, it's just very rewarding to be able to help people out when they're in that kind of a financial situation.
I can well imagine that it is. You're doing some great work there at the foundation. That's wonderful. And I want to make sure all of our members are fully aware of this. I think it's one of those things that can slide under the radar, and you may not even know it's there when you're in a time of need. So please spread the word, and please get out your checkbook and see what you can do to support the RPCRA Crisis Foundation. We urge all of our members to do that.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a current push to do that, which we've already started on social media and our internal electronic signage systems. So the time to give is now.
That's absolutely true, Jerry. Thank you for that. Bob, I'd like to know a little bit more about your real estate experience. How did you happen to get into the real estate business?
Well, it was kind of interesting. I was planning on a career in banking. I went to Florida State University, got a degree in finance. Easter of 2017, I'd come down from Tallahassee to visit with family, talked to my father, explained to him the situation that I was in and interviewing the major banks in the country. I would not have very much independence. And as I discussed it with him, I said, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? He said, I would go into real estate. He always had an interest in real estate. The prerequisites for a degree in finance, one of them is a course in real estate principles and practices. That qualified me to sit for my state exam. And then I also had a course in real estate finance. So in August of 1970, I took the exam, passed the exam, and went directly into real estate.
That's great. And you have your own brokerage here in Fort Myers?
I opened up the office in 1976.
Ah, okay. Now, how would folks get in touch with you, both as a realtor and as a member of the Crisis Foundation?
Well, they could contact me directly. My cell number is 239-410-5220. They could send me an email, bob@cypressrealty.com, or if they just contacted anyone at the association, they could reach me through the association.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's Bob Wade, W-A-D as in Delta E, Wade.
Right.
All right. Like Wade Boggs, my favorite Red Sox player of the 1980s and 90s, real hero of mine. Well, I want to mention one more thing to the folks out there. If you want to connect with us here at the Royal Palmcast, you can do so by sending us an email. We are at shows@rpcra.org. And so today I want to thank our producer and director of marketing and communications, Jerry Johnson. Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Wow, okay. And I also want to thank Beata Jones, who is our CEO, and the entire staff of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association here in Fort Myers, Florida, for all the help and support. And I also want to mention that we do a couple of podcasts here at the Realtor Association. Realtor Riff Rap is our other one. Nick Bagelis is host. And we have a fresh episode out, I think, today, right, Jerry?
Yes, Jim.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. And we also do a video production you can find on YouTube and our social media pages called Realtor's Corner with Nick Bagelis and Joanne Rowell. And they will be doing another episode, I think, this week. So watch for that. And you can certainly check out past episodes on YouTube, social media, and elsewhere. All right, that music tells me we've come to the end of this episode. I want to thank Bob Wade. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
All right, and again, this is the show about people and things that realtors, home buyers, and home sellers care about. I'm Jim Sandville. We'll look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thanks for listening to the Royal Palmcast. Tune in again for more episodes and make sure to check out our sister podcast, Realtor Riff Rap, and our video news show, Realtor's Corner, which can be found on the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association Facebook page and YouTube channel. Sponsorship opportunities for these programs and more coming soon. So stay connected with RPCRA and stay tuned. This has been a production of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association.